How's it going, everybody? I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. There'll be none before me, and there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your SmackDown and Raw reviews, and then we go into a review of Night of Champions 2000, and making sure I got the year right. 2011. For some reason I wanted to say 2012, but I knew I was wrong. We also have your Backlash review, and then we have a drink from WWE, a reading from the Book of Rules, and then your Battle Droid of the week. But let's get into our SmackDown review. With SmackDown kicked off with Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega challenging Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley to a mixed tag team match. We then get the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows versus the Viking Raiders. First time we've seen them in a match on TV in a while. Basically since AJ Styles has gotten injured. So it's cool to see them back. They were able to pick up the win over the Viking Raiders. I wish the Viking Raiders were pushed better than this. I really do. Maybe moving to Raw would help them better. I don't know. We then get Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair says she's going to become the longest reigning Women's Champion of the modern era when she wins at Backlash. I really wish Damage Control had won this. I'll get into that more in my review. Damage Control then interrupted and talked about how Io Sky will defeat Bianca Belair and become the new Raw Women's Champion. And then Dakota Kai and Bayley are going to become the new Women's Tag Team Championships. This led to them attacking Bianca, which led to the Women's Tag Team Champions making the save. So we got that. That was fun. Just keep drinking. We then get the Street Profits versus Imperium of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Street Profits were able to pick up the win. I'm going to get more to the booking of Imperium in my Raw review. I just wish they could pick up a win as a tag team. It really makes them look very lower card as a whole unit. We then get Solo Sikoa backstage telling the Usos they better do their part at Backlash this week. Well, we'll get into that later. Cody Rhodes had said he thinks Brock Lesnar comes to mind when he thinks of the word gatekeeper. He said Lesnar never explained why he attacked him, but tomorrow he will not get the beast. Ugh, God, fuck. Learn how to talk. You guys are listening into the podcast where Jake has a stroke. Cody Rhodes then said that he never found out why Brock Lesnar attacked him, and maybe tomorrow he will get the best of the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes then ended his promo saying tomorrow at Backlash he will be on the road to finishing the story after claiming the kingdom by defeating the Beast. We then get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Karrion Kross in a very good match. I was very happy to see these two have this match, but I wish it was on pay-per-view. Karrion Kross, since coming back to WWE, has sucked. He's had some good matches here and there. That's not the problem. It's that they just haven't booked him right. He's just in all these feuds where he loses. Whether it's to Rey Mysterio, to Shinsuke Nakamura, he never gets a pay-per-view payoff. He needs pay-per-view payoffs. The only one he really got pay-per-view payoff with was Drew McIntyre, and that was it. So, yeah. We then get your main event, the LWO versus Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. LWO was able to pick up the win, and after the match, Judgment Day tried to attack them, but Bad Bunny and the other members of LWO came out and make the save. Ray then gave Bad Bunny an LWO shirt to end the show. That was a very good go-home SmackDown, and I gotta say, the crowd for SmackDown was hot, and it was even hotter for Backlash. Speaking of Backlash, let's go to our Backlash review. This Backlash kicked off with Bianca Belair and Io Sky, coming from Puerto Rico, by the way, where I think they should have the Backlash pay-per-view. That should be the permanent home of Backlash from now on. San Juan, Puerto Rico held it perfectly. It was unbelievable. the crowd was so hot for every move. We get Bianca Belair versus Io Sky in an 18-minute classic. These two really got you going with the false finishes of Io Sky kicking out everything that Bianca Belair had, and Io Sky doing the same until the final moment of Bianca Belair hitting the KOD and pinning Io Sky. We then get Seth friggin' Rollins versus Omos in a singles match. This was a very good match. Seth Rollins really was able to pull the best match out of Omos he's ever had. Can we just completely admit, bias aside, Seth Rollins probably is the best wrestler on this planet? I mean, the guy pulls matches out of anyone. I'm pretty sure he could pull a great match out of me somehow. I really wouldn't be surprised if he could. The Hell in a Cell match, that wasn't, I always say that wasn't his fault. That was the booking at the time. So, there have been very few matches where you look at Seth Rollins and go, yeah, that was a terrible match. Very few, if any. Seth Rollins finally hit a top rope curb stomp to beat Omos. Omos looking like a star, Seth Rollins looking like a star. This is the type of match you love. We think it's probably the worst match of the night, but it was still good. Austin Theory defending his United States Championship in a triple threat match versus Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. Good match, and Austin Theory won it as he should. Both men looking strong. Bronson Reed taking the pin after everyone hit their finishers on him. Bobby Lashley would then hit a spear, and Theory would then throw out Bobby Lashley to pick up the win, which was smart. It let everyone be strong, and Bronson Reed looks stronger in the feet than he does in holding up that title, which I really like. So Austin Theory picks up the win. We then get Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega in a 7-minute match, but this match felt like it went forever in a good way. You know, the crowd was hot for this match of Zelina Vega being from Puerto Rico, which is awesome. She performed so perfectly. Had her ring gear styled for Puerto Rico. So she performed this role as perfect as she could. And even in defeat, Zelina Vega looks like a main event star now, which I never thought she would be. She had one Raw Women's Championship match against Asuka and held the tag team titles for a while. Was Queen of the Ring, but I never looked at her as like a main event player until now. She could definitely be a main event women's champion. Rhea Ripley would hit the KOD on Zelina, but Zelina looked more powerful and lost than she could have in victory, in my opinion. We then get Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. Again, the crowd is hot for this. Bad Bunny coming out to, I believe it was Booker T. If not, it was one of his other songs. I can't remember exactly what song it was, but it was a very, very cool entrance of him coming down the stairs, coming out, grabbing a shopping cart full of weapons, kind of like reminiscent of kind of like I'm trying to remember, I know it's a bad pay-per-view of Rodman Down Under, of the barber Brutus Beefcake coming out with the shopping cart full of weapons, and of course Mick Foley coming out with the shopping cart full of weapons. It was awesome. Dean Ambrose, all that type of shit. So Bad Bunny is clearly one of the best celebrities to turn into a wrestler. I didn't think it would work, but somehow did. It worked. Bad Bunny looks awesome, and him hitting the Canadian Destroyer on Damian Priest to pick up the win, great job. Bad Bunny, man. Bad Bunny picks up the win in what should have been your main event, a 25-minute match. Should have been the main event. We then get the 6-man tag team match of the Bloodline versus Matt Riddle and your tag team champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Good match. Again, probably second worst match of the night, but that's on a stacked card. The Bloodline was able to pick up the win, pinning Matt Riddle. It was okay at best. I'm not a fan of 6-man tag team matches, as I'm made well aware. Except when like a title's on the line or something. The Bloodline was able to pick up the win, and I guess they did their part, so I don't know what happens now with the Bloodline. What happens now? I don't know. We think your main event, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Great match. Shouldn't have been the main event. Definitely shouldn't have been the main event. Cody Rhodes should have... The main event should have been Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, and the semi-main event should have been the SmackDown Women's Championship. This should have been like the third main event. Cody Rhodes was able to pick a win up of Brock Lesnar as Brock locked into Kimura. I knew Cody Rhodes was going to fight out of it. Everybody was saying this was going to be a squash match somehow, and Brock Lesnar was going to squash Cody, and Cody was going to have to work his way up back to the championship picture. I thought Cody Rhodes was going to win it, and it was going to lead to a... They want to keep this feud going. They definitely want to keep this feud going. Cody Rhodes picking up a win over Brock Lesnar is smart. Cody Rhodes was able to turn the Kimura into a pinning combination and pick up the win over Brock Lesnar. Backlash goes off the air. Brock Lesnar pouring blood out of his face. The crowd was so hot for this show. There wasn't a bad match on the card. Besides the main event match, not should be the main event, but still a good match. I would give this show an A+. A+ grade. This was a perfect show. The card should have been just ordered a little differently, but besides that, crowd was hot. Everyone enjoyed the show. The people watching, you can tell that Puerto Rico loved having this show. So shout out to them. Everything that could have gone right for them for WWE Night went right. Everything that could have went right. But moving on from Backlash, we now go on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, announcing he is determined to win the World Heavyweight Championship. He revealed the bracket will be Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Damian Priest. On the Raw side, and then the SmackDown side, we have Edge versus Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley, and then we have Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus versus Austin Theory. So, 2 3-way matches on each show, and then in the main event of each show, it will be the winners of those fatal 3-ways going against each other. So, here we go. It kicked off with Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Very good match. Seth Rollins was able to pick up the win. Shinsuke Nakamura hitting some great moves on Damian Priest. Damian Priest hitting great moves on Seth. But Seth is the one who comes out in the end to win the match and go on to the semifinals of the World Heavyweight Championship. We then get Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci interrupting the WWE Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they made a match official for later on in the night. We then get Mustafa Ali versus Otis in an okay match. It was just more moments of Chad Gable and Maxine being caught up and giving Otis advice, which basically led to Otis losing the match. I guess Maxine Dupri is managing both Alpha Academy members now? Alright. We think of Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Cody Rhodes in a triple threat match to advance to the semifinals to face Seth Rollins in the main event of Raw that night. A very good match. Cody Rhodes looked to have the match won after hitting Crossroads on The Miz. He would go for the pin, but Brock Lesnar would show up and pull Cody Rhodes out and hit an F5 on Cody Rhodes through a table, allowing Finn Balor to pick up the win, and he would hit coup de grace on The Miz. 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor goes to the main event of Raw. So it's a rematch of SummerSlam 2016. 2016 of the first ever Universal Championship match. We then get Brock Lesnar telling Cody Rhodes to look at his face, look at what you did to me. It's still split open. So at Night of Champions, I challenge you to a fight. I don't know what that means. Is it going to be a street fight? Is it going to be no holds barred, ambulance match, no DQ? Something's going to be added to this. It's going to be fun, though. We then move on to SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley versus Dana Brooke. Rhea Ripley beat her, no problem. Dana Brooke showed a little offense in the beginning, which looked cool, but Rhea Ripley easily fought off. and picked up the win. But it was after the match as Dominic Mysterio was celebrating the ring with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley locked on her submission hold. Can't remember what it's called right now. For some reason, cross jacket comes to mind, but I know that's not it. Rhea Ripley then hears Natalia's music. Natalia comes out, and I guess she is the next challenger for Rhea Ripley. Huh, very weird. Very weird indeed. Alrighty. We then get the Undisputed Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Imperium. Now, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would pick up the win in this match. It was a good match. Good match. I don't understand why Imperium is just losing all these matches. Imperium is supposed to be... I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn said correctly of they are nothing more than Gunther's muscle. They're their henchmen. So, I wish that they would book them well enough to where they could be contenders for tag team titles. That's what I was hoping to see from Imperium. Them all hold gold. That would have been so cool. But, I guess we're not booking it that way. I guess we're not booking them that way. We then get Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green making wrestlers sign their petition to be the number one contenders for the women's tag team titles. And then we get a spot of The Way. NXT's The Way of the Gargano Way is back together on Raw, except for Austin Theory, but that's fine. So you have Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Dexter Lumis, and Johnny Gargano all together, and they kept alluding to him coming back soon. I don't know what that means. I'm thinking it means you are now getting Ciampa coming back. They are not talking about Austin Theory because Austin Theory is the U.S. title holder on SmackDown. There's no way Austin Theory is coming to Raw. After this, we get Zoe Starks making her Raw debut against Nikki Cross. Zoe Starks was able to pick up the win. I guess this means Nikki Cross is now going to be the bona fide jobber who everyone faces when they come into WWE. Too bad. Too bad. We then get Trish Stratus cutting a heelish promo talking about Becky Lynch and how she's just staying at home with her daughter and all that shit, and now no one's around to steal her spotlight. But Becky Lynch shows back up, beats the shit out of Trish Stratus, and basically threatened Trish Stratus that she is right there and is ready for a fight. Becky was apparently about to say more, but her music got cut off. This actually led to a funny backstage moment on Twitter where Becky Lynch pretended to beat the shit out of the person who hit her music. So that was very funny. We then get Dominic Mysterio versus Xavier Woods. Dominic was able to pick up the win. Kevin Patrick accidentally called Xavier Woods to pick up the win, which is very funny. But Dominic Mysterio was the real winner of this match. So if you're looking for a little funny moment, watch the commentary on this match. Very funny. We then get Jinder Mahal talking about Sheer's arrival to Raw and wanted them to meet Veer and Sangha, who were also there. So Jinder Mahal is back on Raw. We then get your main event of the night after Cody Rhodes accepted Brock Lesnar's challenge for a fight at Night of Champions. We then get Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor to advance to the finals at Night of Champions for a match at Night of Champions for the Raw's new world title, the World Heavyweight Championship. Great match, unbelievable fight in these two. Really have chemistry, and we learned that at SummerSlam when these two first went together in a match. We learned this at WrestleMania 34. Whenever these two get together, it's going to be a banger of a match, and this one didn't disappoint. Seth Rollins would pick up the win over Finn Balor and would advance to Night of Champions. Seth Rollins, for the Raw side, will need to wait till Friday to see who's on the SmackDown side, but that is Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Raw was very good coming off of the hot Puerto Rico crowd. This crowd was a little but still, it was awesome to see them building off of the momentum from Backlash and really following up on the storyline. So, if you're looking for a good one, this is a fun one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move into Night of Champions 2011. This has won a Night of Champions. It's been reviewed as one of the worst booking decisions of all time in the main event, but it also has one of my favorite booking decisions in one of the semi-main events. So it's fun to see that side, and definitely agree with your side. Completely agree. It kicked off with a dark match between Daniel Bryan and Heath Slater. Singles match for 5 minutes. Daniel Bryan would pick up the win over Heath Slater. We then move on to the main card. It was Air Boom, Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston versus the Awesome Truth of Miz and R-Truth for the Tag Team Championships. Air Boom would pick up the win by disqualification. This match was okay. I really wish the Awesome Truth got more time together. Their heel run that they went on was something truly cool to see, and really makes you wish they got more time to go together, but they would be split by The Rock and John Cena, basically. You think of Cody Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. This is also a very cool match to see because you're getting the 2 former Legacy members really going at it. Cody Rhodes still wearing the mask after his feud with Rey Mysterio, so he still wears a mask to cover up his messed up face or what he believes is messed up. So that's fun to see. Cody Rhodes would defeat Ted DiBiase with a Crossroads in 9 minutes and 43 seconds. I forgot to say, this took place in Buffalo, New York, home of the Sabres, the First Niagara Center. 11,000 attendance at a $161,000 buyer, 60,000 people buy rate. It's a night you will never forget was their tagline. We then get Dolph Ziggler versus Jack Swagger versus Alex Riley versus John Morrison in a fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship. Very cool fatal 4-way here. Dolph Ziggler was at the height of his heel run as a dastardly United States Championship heel, still with Vicky Guerrero at his side, which was a very cool pairing. I really felt this worked better than her and Edge. And I know I'm going to get crucified for that one, but I truly do believe it was a way better heel run for Dolph than Edge. Dolph would pick up the win, pinning Alex Riley, I believe, and would hold on to his United States Championship. We then get what I believe is one of the best booking decisions ever. Mark Henry versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton, a dastardly heel, versus a heel Mark Henry. Because who's going to stop a heel Mark Henry? Mark Henry coming back after winning the World's Strongest Man. He is officially the World's Strongest Man, so what's he going to do? He's going to go after a world title, something he's never been able to hold. This is something Mark Henry completely deserved. Mark Henry would pick up the win, and after hitting World's Strongest Slam on Randy Orton, after pulling Randy Orton into the ropes, hit a World's Strongest Slam. 1, 2, 3. Mark Henry is your new World Heavyweight Champion. I love that. I love this booking decision. It would lead to one of the greatest feuds I think Big Show ever had in WWE with Mark Henry. It would lead to the Daniel Bryan cash-in against Big Show, the 8-second match at WrestleMania, the kiss of the world that will never be forgotten. The kiss heard around the world, which led to a huge brogue kick by Sheamus, which basically led to Daniel Bryan's climbing back up into the main event picture to become WWE Champion at WrestleMania 30. So if you're looking for the reason Daniel Bryan is WWE Champion, look to Mark Henry. Truly, look to Mark Henry. This is the moment where everything started for the Yes Movement. And I think it's very apropos that when the fans were chanting for Daniel Bryan to have a WWE Championship match, who was it that was holding up Daniel Bryan's hand? It was Mark Henry. So, just love that. We then get your women's match for tonight of Kelly Kelly versus Beth Phoenix for a WWE Divas Championship. It was an okay match. You know, it was women's wrestling at this time. They got 6 minutes to work with. I wish Beth Phoenix had got more time, but I understand why they only gave Kelly Kelly that much time. Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, was on a power streak at the moment. And you have Kelly Kelly with Eve Torres, who is technically the heel. It's weird to see Kelly Kelly as the heel and Beth Phoenix as the face. I think Beth Phoenix plays as a way better face and a way better heel in the women's division than she does a face. Just my opinion. Kelly Kelly would pick up the win. And then we move on to your co-main event for the night, John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the WWE Championship. It was a good match. John Cena would pick up the win after locking in the STF on Alberto Del Rio to end Alberto Del Rio's first, and I believe only, WWE Championship reign after Alberto Del Rio cashed in on CM Punk at SummerSlam. You would have him versus John Cena, who would technically invoke his rematch clause for a WWE Championship. Alberto Del Rio would lose it to John Cena here, and that would really be it. You would never see Alberto Del Rio hold the WWE Championship again. He would get a couple of World Heavyweight Championships, I believe, but I honestly don't believe he ever held the WWE Championship again. Apparently right call by WWE, I just want to point that out. This would lead to Alberto Del Rio and feeling to keep out and stabbed in the back, and he would actually reference this in Season 1 of Lucha Underground. Throwback to episode 100. And finally, in your main event, the worst booking decision of all time, Triple H versus CM Punk. If Triple H loses, he will resign as COO of WWE. This is why everyone feels CM Punk was wronged in WWE. This match, CM Punk had all the strength coming out of the summer of Punk. He was supposed to be like this big WWE champion. Oh my God, the new straight edge superstar. But then they make the stupid decision to bring Kevin Nash in, and it goes into apparently Triple H told him to do it. So it goes from CM Punk versus John Cena to CM Punk versus Triple H and Kevin Nash, to CM Punk versus Triple H in this no DQ match. And Triple H would pick up the win, apparently using backstage politics to pick up the win here. It was very stupid of them to book this. CM Punk should have gone over. They shouldn't have added a stipulation for Triple H to lose his COO-ship. If they wanted CM Punk to go over, all they needed to do was have Kevin Nash interfere, cost Triple H the match, and Triple H then could say, hey, I didn't lose this match, but Punk did win, so I'm going to make him number one contender for a WWE Championship, and I will go on and beat the shit out of Kevin Nash. But instead, Triple H hits a pedigree on CM Punk. CM Punk then goes away for a little while, and we get Triple H versus Kevin Nash in a sledgehammer in a ladder match. CM Punk should have won this match. Triple H won it. Again, it's one of the worst booking decisions ever. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. Triple H was apparently just said, okay, I'll win the match. I'm sure he wasn't mad to get the win over Punk. They didn't like each other, but at the same time, I'm sure if he wanted to change the finish, he could have. He definitely could have. But we never got the change, and long story short, this is one of the reasons CM Punk left WWE, ladies and gentlemen. After that booking decision, I could use a drink. So here we go. The Devil's Margarita. Sounds downright evil, doesn't it? But tastes delicious. 1.5 ounce white tequila, 3/4 ounce lime juice, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, 1 ounce red wine. You gotta add this all into a shaker, shake well, strain into a glass, and layer the red wine on top using the back of a bar spoon. Garnish with a lime wedge and enjoy. Please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you are under 21 in the United States. and do not overconsume on alcohol. Woo! And now a reading from the Book of Rules. Masks. Masked superstars are not required to move their mask for their official wrestling license photos. A reading for the Book of Rules. And now, everybody, it is time for the Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week is simple to me. I mentioned it in my Backlash review. The Battle Droid of the Week is whoever the fuck decided to put Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar in the main event of Backlash. It should have been Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. So, to whoever you are in the booking committee, congratulations. You are the Battle Droid of the Week.
Uh-oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to episode 101, Wrestling 101. I have been the big guy. You have been the fans. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Enjoy this week of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening.